So your application requires people to sort of engage consumers to engage in new behaviors, which is sort of, if you sort of think about startups, like they kind of fall into the category of either you're either solving an existing unfilled need, or you're doing something like a lot cheaper than someone else, or the sort of the hardest ones is kind of I think what you're doing, but also maybe the most interesting, which is you're trying to get people to just behave in a different way.
I always try to actually not change user behavior, but I somehow always get sucked into it.
Well, it's the most interesting stuff because typically the stuff that it fits into existing behavior has already been done. And so, actually though, if you look at a lot of interesting online, like Facebook is a great example where a lot of that behavior isn't that new, it just happened, it was an offline behavior and it was brought online. So there were all these sort of offline analogs, right? So there was sort of the core behavior existed, but just hadn't been sort of instantiated in this way or something with this new technology, I don't know. But anyways, can you talk about, how you see kind of getting over that hump and getting people to, used to this? And
I think that it's an interesting question, and we kind of, we're asking you to take your phone and scan a barcode with it, which is definitely new user behavior that we're trying to get people to do, and it's difficult, but I think what I took is kind of a page in that is that Red Laser has had millions of people download their app, and actually it was a paid app before eBay bought them. And so millions of people bought it, and then they used it to scan tons of items. I don't even remember how many millions of items that they scanned. So when there's the incentive there to scan, and that was for price comparison, I think people will adjust to user behavior and change as long as the value proposition is there.
So clearly, saving money is something people are incented to do. People talk a lot about game mechanics today as another way to sort of provide incentives. Another way, I guess, is I think what you're doing a little bit of, which is you're partnering with bigger companies who have brands, who then will sort of, you can potentially ride some of their marketing dollars to sort of like push this out. Is that right? Or?
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of one of the philosophies that we took for this new version, is that obviously if we can have these brands which are fully happy to throw advertising dollars at, hey, please interact with our product, if we can kind of take that and say, hey, if you scan, like we just did, if you scan an Altoids can, you'll get a $10 iTunes gift card. Stuff like that will make somebody download the app and scan it, and we sold out of those in an hour because of it. But that's obviously one very.
Well, how has it been dealing with? I mean, being startup people, we're not used to these. Dealing with sort of bigger companies. Like, how has it been dealing with those bigger companies, and what lessons have you learned so far? I mean, for example, like I assume that they're going to be much more risk averse in adopting.
They are. So there's definitely groups of companies. There's groups, like there's the one group of companies that are completely into trying any early technology. It doesn't matter what it is. And actually, there's a lot of big companies.
So they see that as one of their competitive advantages, kind of as like being early adopters. And so.
Early adopters, especially because it's proven to be very effective with like Twitter and Facebook and Foursquare to be kind of the first.
So the people that have had success being the first ones there are very, are your sort of ripest customers.
And then there are the brands that are like, we'll wait for that to see if that's successful, and then we'll jump on.